This is a big weekend from a rep standpoint and we're talking about the Mountain West here, because there are a ton of games where teams are in 3-point spreads either way, and a lot of the opponents have just become Division I programs, bumping up from FCS. I know App State has a good reputation. I know you went there. What do you make of Wyoming at home only laying 3 against App State?
I think that this is a result of bookmakers really not knowing how to compare these two teams. I mean, App State, with their backup quarterback, Joey Aguilar, who started the year as the number 2, Ryan Berger, who broke his hand in the opening game of the year, and they've really relied a lot on the young quarterback. But they've also got a great running back, Nate Noel, who gashed East Carolina for 193 yards last week. I mean, they're coming off of a 465-yard performance offensively in a rivalry game at home, and App State averaging over 40 points per game, which is in the top 20 in the country. Now, if there is a defense that is, enabled to stop them, it is this Craig Bohl-coached Wyoming team, which, similar to Air Force, does a lot of assignment football on the defensive side, and it's going to be a lot of man coverage. It's going to be, I think, a slow-moving game. I don't necessarily think that App State's going to be able to put up 4 with ease like they have done in a couple of their games this year, but Wyoming really is going to have to rely on the offensive side to try to keep this one as low scoring as it may be. Try to keep it close, because Ryan Peasley not 100%. They've got a couple of different options as far as the backfield, but this is kind of a very unique matchup. All of a sudden, this App State team, which is traditionally known for its defense and its kind of RPO style offense, it's really transitioned into a downfield spread game offensively, which I think this Wyoming team, especially in the defensive backfield, can match up against, and it's going to be a battle in the trenches as well. This is a big Cowboys defensive line.
Colorado State, they had the chance to be America's darling last week if they could have got the upset over Colorado. But do you think that you learn more from them in a loss, and what do you think they're going to do against MTSU this weekend?
Well, I mean, that game was, at least so far, the most incredible game that I've seen this season. I think a lot of people would agree. It was ESPN's highest-rated late slot college football game ever. So, I mean, they had all the hype. They were going into a hostile environment, which all of a sudden Folsom Field in Boulder sold out for the rest of the year. So that's not going to be the last time that they have a really big-time environment like that. But for Colorado State, they didn't blink. What it took for that game was Shadir Sanders to just go completely berserk in the second half and in the overtime periods, and he single-handedly guided the Buffaloes to that win. This Jay Norvell team really sharp this year. They did a great job in the transfer portal, and the main thing for me is on the offensive side. After not scoring 20 points in any game last year, they've now done it twice against 2 Power 5 opponents. So while I think that the line may be correct with Middle Tennessee State a slight favorite in Murfreesboro playing at home where they are traditionally a powerhouse, I think that this Rams team is much better than the 0-2 record so far would suggest.
Last minute here, what do you think Nevada does on the road? Showed a lot better last week against Kansas, but getting 17 again here in Texas against Texas State in San Marcos, Texas.
Yeah, they nearly beat Kansas last week, which this Kansas team all of a sudden out of nowhere becoming really solid in the Big 12. People forget Nevada right now with the nation's longest losing streak, but the last game they won, October of last year, against Texas State in Reno. So it's a team that they've beaten within the last calendar year, and I think if there's any team that they're going to, surprise everybody and upset on the road, it would be this Bobcats team playing at home. And we'll see. I think that Kansas program is really one that Nevada can kind of base itself off of as far as, coming from futility and really competing in a big-time conference.
Go on Twitter at Mountain West. They tweet out the Cover 12 podcast. That is a coverage of the entire group of football teams around the Mountain West Conference. And Matt Neverett, along with Nate Kreckman, put that podcast together. All right, real quick, what's the prediction for UNLV against UTEP?
I think UNLV is buoyed with confidence, and they should be coming off of that big-time win against Vanderbilt. And it's going to be a good game, I think, as far as the quarterback play. If Doug Bremfield is indeed healthy and is indeed, with another week of prep and practice leading up to it, I think that they're going to really start to break out some of the gadget plays as far as the go-go offense. And I think that this is a game where if they take a lead early, look for them to really try to supplement it with some big plays.
Matt, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you.
Happy to help you guys anytime. Aviator season wrapping up this weekend, and then Steve and I on the call of UNLV Hawaii next weekend back at home at Allegiant Stadium.